أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا وحبيبنا وطيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رضي الله عنا وعنكم وعن كافة المؤمنين ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. الأصل الثالث العمل بموجب الفرح الحاصل من معرفة المنعم. Imam Ghazali said that there are three founding principles of shukr. The first one is al-ilm, that all good things you have originally come from Allah Ta'ala. And the second thing, feeling farah, feeling joy, happiness in your heart because of these gifts Allah Ta'ala has given to you. And then the third principle is acting upon this joy that comes from knowledge of the gift giver, al-mun'im. So, ma'rifat al-mun'im, the knowledge of the gift giver, the knowledge of the one who sends you favors. When you know him, when you know that like all the gifts you have in your life, they all originate from Allah Ta'ala. This creates farah, the joy, happiness in your heart. And this farah produces amal. It gets reflected on your actions. So هذا العمل يتعلق بالقلب وباللسان وبالجوارح. So this amal, which originates from farah, which is caused by ma'rifat al-mun'im, so it has like three types. It's produced by three organs or limbs, by the heart, by the tongue, by all limbs. So shukr has like three types. Shukr by the qalb, shukr by the lisan, shukr by al-jawarih, by all limbs. Amma bil qalb, so how can one expresses shukr, gratefulness, thankfulness by the heart? فَقَصْدُ الْخَيْرِ وَإِدْمَارُهُ لِكَافَةِ الْخَلْقِ. So intending for goodness, and keeping goodness in your heart for the entire creation, كافة الخلق, for the entire creation. So, فَقَصْدُ الْخَيْرِ, if you intend to offer goodness for the entire creation, that's shukr by heart. Idmaruhu means to hide in the heart, because damir means heart. Idmar, hiding something in the heart or keeping something in the heart. So if you keep in your heart goodness, for the entire creation, then this is a shukr bil qalb. Amma bil lisan, how about with tongue? Like how you thank to Allah Ta'ala by your tongue. فإظهار الشكر لله تعالى بالتحميدات الدالة عليه. So it's expressing gratitude to Allah Ta'ala through tahmidat, by saying Alhamdulillah, Shukr lillah, which indicates the gratitude that you have in your heart, because the tongue is the translator of the heart. Your tongue translates, expresses what's in your heart. So what's in your heart, when it's expressed by your tongue as a gratitude to Allah Ta'ala, this is a shukr bil lisan. Amma bil jawari, how about gratitude or shukr with all your limbs to Allah Ta'ala. فاستعمال نعم الله تعالى في طاعته والتوقي من الاستعانة بها على معصية. So this is a very good definition. Just keep this in mind. So how do you how do you make thanks? How do you give your thanks to Allah Ta'ala through your organs, through your limbs? فاستعمال نعم الله تعالى في طاعته. It's by using God's gifts in obedience to Him. Okay, if you use God's gifts in according to His will, you know, complying to His will, then this is shukr. So whatever Allah has given to you, if you use them to thank, in accordance with the will of Allah Ta'ala, then this is thank to Allah Ta'ala. Thanking to Allah. Like say, Allah has given you money, so what would be pleasing to Allah Ta'ala, you know, when you use this money? Allah has given you health, like what would be pleasing to Allah Ta'ala in using this health? Allah Ta'ala gave you some talents, some knowledge, you know, some power. So if you use these things in accordance with the will of Allah Ta'ala, in obedience to Him, then this is shukr with limbs. والتوقي من الاستعانة بها على معصية, and also refraining from using God's gifts in committing sins against His will. You know, staying away from using God's gifts to rebel Him. So this is also part of the shukr with limbs to Allah Ta'ala. حتى إن شكر العينين أن تستر كل عيب تراه للمسلمين. For instance, you know, thanking to the gift of eyesight is covering up or ignoring shortcomings of other people you see. Okay, so you see by accident shortcomings of other people. If you just ignore them, cover them up, don't expose them, this is shukr for the eyesight. Why? Because you are using your eyes in such a way that's pleasing to Allah Ta'ala, and you are staying away from doing something that Allah dislikes. وشكر الأذنين أن تستر كل عيب تسمعه فيه. So expressing your gratitude for the ears Allah has given to you is by covering up the shortcomings or the mistakes or the wrong things you hear from other people. Okay, so if you don't expose them, then this is the shukr of al-udhnayn. فيدخل هذا في جملة شكر النعم لهذه الأعضاء. So these things are part of the part of expressing gratitude for these limbs Allah Ta'ala has gifted to you. والشكر باللسان لإظهار الرضا عن الله تعالى وهو مأمور به. So, you know, expressing your gratitude, your joy, your happiness, your contentment from the gifts of Allah Ta'ala is something that you are required. You know, you are commanded, you are ordered to do. So, I mean, if Allah Ta'ala, you know, gave you gifts, favors, blessings, you are required to express it with your tongue. But it doesn't mean like expressing with tongue alone is enough. You have to express your gratitude with your qalb and also with your limbs. فقد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كيف أصبحت? Rasulullah sallam once asked a person, how did you reach the morning? فقال بخير. He said, you know, I reached very well. فأعاد صلى الله عليه وسلم السؤال, and Rasul repeated the question. فأعاد الرجل الجواب, and the man repeated the answer بالخير بخير يعني I reach with goodness حتى قال في الثالثة بخير أحمد الله وأشكره. And at the third time, the man realized that he has to express his gratitude to Allah Ta'ala for allowing him to reach to the morning. And he said, I reached to morning with goodness. I am very grateful to Allah Ta'ala and I thank him. فقال رسول الله هذا الذي أردت منك. And Rasulullah said, this is what I wanted to hear from you. وكان السلف يتساءلون ونيتهم استخراج الشكر لله تعالى. يعني so the pious predecessors as Salaf, from previous generations, they were asking each other like, how are you? How is everything? Etc. And their intention was to make the other person express gratitude to Allah Ta'ala, make him thank to Allah Ta'ala, ليكون الشاكر مطيعا, so that he becomes an obedient servant of Allah Ta'ala, والمستنطق له به مطيعا, and also the one who had him speak also becomes an obedient servant of Allah Ta'ala. وما كان قصدهم الرياء بإظهار الشوق, and their purpose was not to show off, by doing this. So this was their intention, like, when they say how are you, their intention to make you thank Allah Ta'ala. وكل عبد سئل عن حال فهو بين أن يشكر ويشكو أو يسكت. So when somebody is asked about his situation, like how are you? Somebody asks how are you? He has like three options. Either he thanks, or he complains, or he remains silent. Three options: thanking, complaining, and remaining silent. فالشكر طاعة. But if he expresses gratitude for his situation, then this is obedience to Allah Ta'ala. This is pleasing to Allah Ta'ala. والشكوى معصية قبيحة من أهل الدين. But if he complains about his situation, then this is disobedience, an ugly, abhorrible disobedience from like religious people against Allah Ta'ala. فكيف لا تقبح الشكوى من ملك الملوك وبيده كل شيء إلى عبد مملوك لا يقدر على شيء. So how like complaining ملك الملوك, the king of kings, وبيده كل شيء, who controls everything, إلى عبد مملوك لا يقدر على شيء, complaining ملك الملوك, who owns everything, who controls everything, to some servant who's owned and created by Allah Ta'ala, and he has no power to do anything. How can you complain the king of the kings to a simple servant? Wouldn't this be like an ugly, abhorrible action? فالأحرى بالعبد إن لم يحسن الصبر على البلاء والقضاء وأفضى به الضعف إلى الشكوى أن تكون شكواه إلى الله تعالى. So what's suitable for the servant, if in case he cannot show endurance, forbearance to the trials and the destiny of Allah Ta'ala, and his weakness led him to complain, he should make his complaint to Allah Ta'ala. not to his, mortal servants, فهو المبلي وهو القادر على إزالة البلاء, because he is the one who sends the trials, the challenges, the difficulties, and he is the one who has power to remove those trials. وَذَلُّ الْعَبْدِ لِمَوْلَاهُ عِزٌّ. So it's a very good sentence, very good sentence. But ذُلُّ الْعَبْدِ لِمَوْلَاهُ عِزٌّ. I mean, humility of a servant towards his Lord is glory, is honor, is power. So like if you as a human being become humble, show humility, nothingness to Allah Ta'ala, this is al-izz, this is honor, this is glory, this is power. وَالشَّكْوَى إِلَى غَيْرِهِ ذُلٌّ. But complaining Allah Ta'ala to some mortal human beings, this is misery. This is misery. وَإِظْهَارُ الذُّلِّ لِلْعَبِيدِ مَعَ كَوْنِهِمْ أَذِلَّاءَ قَبِيحٌ. And showing misery to other servants who are miserable themselves is abhorrible, is something really ugly, not good. قال الله تعالى, and Allah Ta'ala said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ لَا يَمْلِكُونَ لَكُمْ رِزْقًا فَابْتَغُوا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الرِّزْقَ وَاعْبُدُوهُ وَاشْكُرُوا لَهُ. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ, the ones you worship other than Allah Ta'ala, like these false gods, idols, things like you adopt as gods, لا يملكون لكم رزقا. They don't own any gift, any sustenance to give to you. They cannot offer you anything. Although you make them gods and you worship them, but they have nothing to give to you, nothing to offer to you. فَابْتَغُوا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الرِّزْقَ. So, ask for your sustenance from Allah Ta'ala. Like if you want to ask anything, ask from Allah Ta'ala, not from those false gods, because they cannot give you anything. So ask everything from Allah Ta'ala, including your rizq, your sustenance, your livelihood, وَعَبُدُوهُ, and worship Him, وَاشْكُرُوا لَهُ, and show gratitude to Him, show thankfulness to Him. وَقَالَ تَعَالَى, and Allah Ta'ala said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ عِبَادٌ أَمْثَالُكُمْ. The things that you worship other than Allah Ta'ala, they are servants like you. They are also servants, mortal human beings like you. So why you worship them? No reason for it, no justification for it. فالشكر باللسان من جملة الشكر. So expressing gratefulness to Allah Ta'ala is part of shukr, but not all of it. It's only one segment, one fragment of shukr. So shukr is not limited only verbal expression of gratitude to Allah Ta'ala. But it's an important part of it, and we are required to express our gratitude to Allah Ta'ala verbally. وَقَدْ رُوِيَ أَنَّ وَفْدًا قَدَمُوا على عمر بن عبد العزيز رحمة الله عليه. So it is reported that a delegation came to Umar bin Abdul Aziz رحمة الله عليه فقام شاب ليتكلم. And one young man stood up in the delegation. And فقال عمر, and Umar bin Abdul Aziz said, الكبر الكبر. يعني stay away from arrogance, stay away from hubris. You know, al-kibra, al-kibra. So he was warning him not to have kibr because he is the spokesman of the group, of the delegation. So فقال يا أمير المؤمنين لو كان. So this young man said, oh, the leader of the believers, لو كان الأمر بالسن لكان في المسلمين من هو أسن منك. And this young man said, you know, if greatness was because of the age, you know, there are people who have longer age than you. So this young man was saying, I am young and I am spokesman of the group, but this doesn't make me arrogant or have hubris. So they made me spokesman, and I am young, but being young is not a problem. This is what he was trying to say. فقال تكلم, and Sayyidina Umar ibn Aziz said, okay, go ahead and speak. فقال لسنا وفد الرغبة ولا وفد الرهبة أما الرغبة فقد أوصلها إلينا فضلك وأما الرهبة فقد آمننا منها عدلك وإنما نحن وفد الشكر جئناك نشكرك باللسان ونتصرف. So this young man was a very intelligent man, and he was also a very good speaker. So he said, لسنا وفد الرغبة. So we did not come to ask something from you, رغبة, you know, trying to get closer to you or to ask for favors from you. ولا وفد الرهبة. And we came to you not out of fear from you. So basically, like, we came not to ask anything from you. We came not because we are afraid of you, to protect yourself from your punishment or something. أما الرغبة, as to like asking something from you, فقد أوصلها إلينا فضلك. It's already reached to us. You know, your favors has already reached to us because of your generosity. You know, فضلك, your generosity made your favors reach to us already. وأما الرهبة, as to fear, فقد آمننا منها عدلك. Your justice made us feel secure about it. وإنما نحن وفد الشكر. We came here as a delegation to express our gratitudes, to express our thankfulness to you. جئناك نشكرك باللسان وننصرف. You know, we came to express our gratitude to you verbally with our tongues. وننصرف, then we will leave. So we are not here to ask any favors from you. We are not here just to, you know, make sure like you don't punish us or anything. Just came to thank to you. So it's a dialogue between Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Aziz and this young man who was this spokesman for this delegation. فهذه هي أصول معاني الشكر المحيطة بمجموع حقيقته. And Imam Ghazali says that this statement includes usul ma'ani shukr, the most important principles of the shukr, of the meanings of shukr. So this person's statement includes all of them. So shukr is not about like asking favors. Shukr is not about trying to protect yourself from the punishment. Shukr is about expressing your gratitude verbally. وأما قول من قال إن الشكر هو الاعتراف بنعمة المنعم على وجه الخضوع. So how about this statement that someone said shukr is acknowledging the gifts of the gift giver in a very humble way, with great humility, acknowledging the gifts, the blessings, the favors of the gift giver in the most humble way. فهو نظر إلى فعل اللسان مع بعض أحوال القلب. So this reflects the actions of the tongue, the speech act, together with the state of the heart. So this khudu' is a state of the heart, this humility, state of the heart, and al-i'tiraf bi ni'mat al-mun'im, this is fi'lul lisan, speech act. So speech act combined with state of the heart. That's the shukr. وقول من قال إن الشكر هو الثناء على المحسن بذكر إحسانه. So there is another one. He defined shukr as follows. He said shukr is praising the generous person who is giving you favors and gifts by mentioning his gift or his generosity. That's shukr. نظر إلى مجرد عمل اللسان. This is with respect to the action of the tongue only. Okay, so the state of the heart is not mentioned in this definition. Only verbal expression of shukr is emphasized in this definition. وقول القائل, and also somebody said, إن الشكر هو اعتكاف على بساط الشهود بإدامة حفظ الحرمة جامع لأكثر معاني الشكر لا يشذ منه إلا عمل اللسان. So this definition that the shukr is اعتكاف على بساط الشهود, staying constantly on the carpet of witnessing Allah Ta'ala. بإدامة حفظ الحرمة, with continuous respect to Allah Ta'ala. So if you stay on the bisat al-shuhud, on the ground of witnessing with the eye of the heart Allah Ta'ala, and with a constant respect adab to him, then this is shukr. This is another definition of shukr. And Imam Ghazali says جامع الأكثر معاني الشكر. So this definition collects or contains most of the meanings of shukr. لا يشذ منه إلا عمل اللسان, except what's missing is the action of the tongue. So that's missing because the reference is only to the heart. وقول حمدون القصار شكر النعمة أن ترى نفسك في الشكر طفيليا. So Hamdun al-Qassar said the gratitude to a gift is to see yourself that you are a parasite in your efforts to make shukr to Allah Ta'ala. So tufayli means like a parasite, you know, you don't have much, you get like a small pieces of it. So if you think that like your gratitude, the way you express your thankfulness to Allah Ta'ala is very little, very limited, very small, you are like a, you know, getting small pieces of it. So this is an expression of powerlessness and inability to thank to the blessings of Allah Ta'ala. So he says this is what shukr. So إشارة إلى أن معنى المعرفة من معاني الشكر فقط. So this is an indication that the knowledge is one of the meanings of shukr. So knowledge is part of shukr. This awareness is part of shukr. وقول الجنيد الشكر ألا ترى نفسك أهلا للنعمة. So Junaid Baghdadi, he said that shukr is that you see yourself unqualified, undeserving for the gift of Allah Ta'ala. So if you think that I don't deserve this gift from Allah, I don't deserve this favor from Allah Ta'ala, I'm not qualified, you know, this is shukr. And إشارة إلى حال من أحوال القلب على الخصوص. So this definition by Junaid points out to one of the states of the heart of the people who make shukr to Allah Ta'ala. وهؤلاء أقوالهم تعرب عن أحوالهم. So these definitions, they express their state of mind, state of their heart and soul. So like people at different states, they have different definitions of a shukr. So their definitions express their state of heart. ولذلك تختلف أجوبتهم ولا تتفق. This is the reason why there is diversity in their answers. ثم قد يختلف جواب كل واحد في حالتين. And furthermore, even the answer of a person may be different in two states. So if the state of one individual changes, his answer may also change regarding what's shukr. لأنهم لا يتكلمون إلا عن حالاتهم الراهنة الغالب عليهم. Because when they speak, they don't speak except about their own state of heart at the moment, which is prevalent on them. So they don't make statements like intellectual or academic statements. The statements they make is an expression of their state, and in this particular moment, اشتغالا بما يهمهم عما لا يهمهم. And it shows that they are preoccupied with what concerns them, and they leave what does not concern them. أو يتكلمون بما يرونه لائقا بحال السائل. And other reason why they have different answers is that you know, they may be speaking in such a way that's suitable to the state of the person who's asking the question. يعني يكلم الناس على قدر عقولهم. So they may be taking into account the state of the student or the person who is asking the question and giving him an answer that's suitable to his hal. فلا ينبغي أن تظن أن ما ذكرناه طعن عليهم. But you should never think this is a critique of them. وأنه لو عرض عليهم جميع المعاني التي شرحناها كانوا ينكرونها because you know I mean if you communicate people without taking their state into account, they may deny or they may reject the meanings you tell them. بل لا يظن ذلك بعاقل أصلا. So this wouldn't be suitable for an intelligent person to speak to people without taking into account the state of the interlocutor. إلا أن تفرض منازعة من حيث اللفظ في أن اسم الشكر في وضع اللسان هل يشمل جميع المعاني أم يتناول بعضها مقصودا وبقية المعاني تكون من توابعها ولوازمها. But there may be a debate about is there like an essential meaning for the word shukr, and then the others they are attached to it like a secondary meanings. Is there like a primary meaning of shukr in language which is comprehensive, like all meanings, or there's like one meaning and then the other meanings are attached to it. Or ولسنا نقصد في هذا الكتاب شرح موضوعات اللغات. But he says, you know, our purpose in this book is not to make a linguistic analysis. So he's saying basically we are not interested in the linguistic analysis of the meaning of gratitude and thankfulness, etc. فليس ذلك من علم طريق الآخرة في شيء. And this kind of linguistic or philologic analysis of the meaning of words is not part of the علم طريق الآخرة, the discipline of the path of hereafter. والله الموفق برحمته. So may Allah give tawfiq out of his mercy to us, inshallah ta'ala. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. If you have any questions, please go ahead. All right, it seems there is no question. Inshallah ta'ala, we can conclude our class here. May Allah give you all good health, good success, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Hojam. Jazakallah khairan.
Alaikum salam.